Very good afternoon to all of you. Now I will be dealing with the text of chapter number 5 from Hornbill, the Ailing Planet. So please confirm me whether you both can see the text or not. Yes, so Vanshika and Angel, can you both see the text? Is the text visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So let us start then. Whatever I discuss right now, that part already been discussed earlier. Now I will be dealing with the part that I will be starting from here. Okay, see, scientists have catalogued, or rather to say categorized, about 1.4 million living species with which mankind shares the earth. I already told you that some of the statistical datas or information mentioned here that might not tally with the present scenario, because this one was written way back in 1994, but whatever statistical information or data or estimates been given, you have to memorize it, and we have to go by the NCERT book. Okay, so 1.4 living species are there with which human beings or mankind shares the earth. Okay, now estimates vary widely as regards the still uncatalogued living species, but there are many other living species who are waiting for a biological nomenclature, who are waiting for a biological identity. See here, and their number is much more than the number of the species that had been discovered and with whom we mankind, we human beings, we share the earth. Okay, but there are many other living species, they are still languishing in ignominious darkness, waiting for an identity. Okay, see now what is written. Estimates vary widely as regards the still uncatalogued living species. Biologists reckon that about 3 to 100 million other living species still languish unnamed in ignominious darkness. Why unnamed? Because research work is still going on. We specifically can't distinguish them. Okay, now research work will be conducted and is getting conducted, so we will be getting to know more about them. Till then they are in darkness, or rather to say they are in harrowing darkness, or in other words we can say they are in ignominious darkness. Okay, now I am moving on to the next paragraph. See, one of the early international commissions which dealt with the question of ecology and environment was the Branded Commission. Please underline this one. I hope you have the text by your side. Branded Commission is a commission that dealt with international issues related with ecology and environment. Okay, so their work was mainly to deal with the questions, the problems, the issues related with ecology and environment. And they had a distinguished Indian as one of its members, that is Mr. L.K. Jha. And what was the first report that was given by the Branded Commission? It was something very thought-provoking, and it was like an eye-opener for every one of us, that what are we doing right now in terms of the environment. What exactly are we doing? Are we serious enough? See, it is written, are we to leave our successors? That means, what about the future generation? What are we going to leave for them? A Scott's planet of advancing deserts, impoverished landscapes and ailing environment. What exactly are we going to leave for them? Are we going to leave for them large areas or large stretches of desert areas? Are we going to leave for them rugged, barren landscapes? Are we going to leave for them ailing environment? This is a very, very important matter being raised in the first report made by the Branded Commission. Remember, the Branded Commission's sole motive was to look after issues and problems worldwide related with environment and ecology. Okay, something that is very important. Now I am moving on to the next paragraph, but before that let me ask you, is there any doubt at the back of your mind up to this? Is there any problem, Angela and Vanshika, or is it clear? It is clear. Okay, fine. So let us move on then. See, there is a gentleman and he has okay. So there is a gentleman, he has written a book, Mr. Lester Brown, or his full name is Mr. Lester R. Brown. And what is the name of the book that he has written? The name of the book that he has written is The Global Economic Prospect. That is the name of the book. Remember, very, very important for MCQ type question, for objective, subjective type questions. This part is very, very important and you have to memorize it. Okay, there is no other alternative, but first you understand properly, then you memorize, then the memorization part will be easy. See, Lester R. Brown in his thoughtful book, and what is the name of the book? The Global Economic Prospect, points out that the Earth's principal biological systems are four. And what are those? Fisheries, forest, grasslands and croplands. Remember, they are very much interconnected, or rather to say in other words, they are very much interrelated to one another. Now, if overuse of any one happens, it affects indirectly the others. Okay, now that is something we should always remember at the back of our mind. Okay, so see, the name of the book, I am repeating one more time. The name of the book is The Global Economic Prospect. Now, in that book, Mr. Brown, or rather to say Mr. Lester Brown, he points out that the Earth's principal biological systems are four. And what are those? Fisheries, then forest, then grasslands, and finally we find croplands. And these four ingredients, these four components rather, they form the foundation of the global economic system. Global means when we consider the entire world, when we take the entire world into consideration. Now they supply all our food materials, virtually they supply all the raw materials except minerals and petroleum related products. I repeat one more time, those four important components that constitute the biological systems, the four components that constitutes the Earth's principal biological systems like fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands, they provide virtually all the raw materials. Okay, they provide actually all the raw materials except minerals and petroleum related products. So except minerals and petroleum related products, fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands, they provide all the raw materials, okay, that are needed for our life sustenance. Okay, that is needed for our smooth functioning of our livelihood. Clear? Now you see, in large areas of the world, human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level. Any idea what is the meaning of this? In large areas of the world, human claims on these systems are reaching an unsustainable level. Now the important thing is that we are using it, we are not using it tactfully, we are using it in such a way that it is moving beyond the control. That is what we say, unsustainable level. Okay, when we are using it something that is beyond our control, that is already we have reached we are using it in such a way that it is now, we can say, overuse. Okay, we are using it out of control now, overuse. That is what is being referred by the term unsustainable level, a point where their productivity is being impaired, productivity is collapsed. Okay, and when this sort of things, or when this sort of phenomenon happens, when productivity is gets impaired, okay, when the human demands reaches an unsustainable level, what exactly happens at that time? Fisheries, they collapse, forest, they disappear, and most importantly, grasslands are converted into rugged. Barren means rugged wastelands, and croplands, the croplands, they deteriorate also at the same time. So as I told you, all the four essential components that constitutes, remember very carefully, all the four essential components that constitutes the Earth's biological systems like fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands, they are very much interconnected. So when productivity is impaired because of overconsumption, because of using it to a level beyond control, that we can term as unsustainable level, then ultimately what happens? Fisheries collapse, forests they disappear, grasslands are converted into rugged or barren wastelands, and most importantly the croplands they deteriorate. So as I told you, they are very much interrelated, they are very much interconnected. So whenever there is a productivity impairment in terms of productivity, then of course it creates a big impact on all the four essential components that constitutes the Earth's principal biological system. And what are the four biological systems? Already you have to memorize: fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands. Okay, now let me move on. Any doubt up to this? Any sort of doubt you can ask me. Angel,
No, sir.
Vanshika, clear up to this? Okay, okay,
No, sir.
okay, no doubt. Okay, so let us move on. In see now what is written: in a protein conscious and protein hungry world, overfishing is common every day. This is something very important. We live in a protein conscious and a protein hungry world. So in a protein conscious and a protein hungry world, overfishing is something that is very common. Okay, and in poor countries, local forests are being cut off. Okay, local forests are being decimated. Why? Because firewood is needed. And firewood is needed for what? Very common thing. We know it. Firewood is needed for cooking purpose. And obviously, since firewood is in great demand, so obviously firewoods are becoming more and more expensive. So see, so this is what happens when we fail to tactfully utilize the natural components, because we should realize that we should use it in a proper manner. If we go on recklessly use it, then obviously there will be some scarcity, and obviously it will create a big impact on all the essential components that constitutes the Earth's principal biological system, like namely, as I told you, fisheries, forests, grasslands and croplands. What will happen when there will be when the productivity will be impaired? What will happen? The fisheries will collapse, the forest will disappear, grasslands definitely will be converted into rugged wastelands, and most importantly the croplands, it will deteriorate. Okay, now in some places firewood has become so expensive that, and here I quote, this is a very important line for your NCERT exam. Okay, question, this is a very important line. Okay, if you see many NCERT sample questions, okay, related with this chapter, this particular line you will find there, and this line is given. Based on this line, questions are being asked. Okay, so very important, very practical. This line is very practical also, and look at what been referred here by the author. What goes under the pot? That means I'm talking about the cooking ingredients like firewood, then electricity. All these are cooking ingredients. Now they are much more expensive than the cooked items. Now what are the cooked items? Like the vegetables, pulses. Okay, we are talking about this. So in comparison to the cooked items, the cooking ingredients which are being used to cook the cooked items, they are much more expensive. Okay, see, it is written, in some places firewood has become so expensive, you can say costlier also, using a comparative degree. What goes under the pot now cost more than what goes inside it. That means the cooking ingredients, that the things that goes under the pot, they are much more expensive, or rather to say they are much more costlier than the cooked items. Okay, now since the tropical forest is, in the words of Dr. Myers is an environmentalist. Now what he told regarding tropical forest, according to him, quote unquote, tropical forest is actually the powerhouse of evolution. Okay, and several species of life will face extinction if it is destroyed. Okay, because many species of life, for their life sustenance, they depend on the tropical forest. Okay, now the important thing is that the tropical forest, if it is cut down, or rather to say if it is decimated in large numbers, then of course those creatures, those living species whose habitat depends on the tropical forest, in due course of time they will become extinct from the face of the earth. So we have to be less selfish in our motives, and we should remember that being a part of nature, it is our ethical and moral obligation to protect our environment at any cost, not only considering the benefit of the present generation but thinking about the future generation. The bigger picture also into consideration we have to take, right? Now, any doubt up to this? I am repeating this line once again. Okay, what goes under the pot now cost more than what goes inside it. That means the cooking ingredients are much more expensive. The cooking ingredients are much more costlier than the actual cooked items. That means what goes under the pot, they are more expensive than what goes inside the pot. Okay, cooking ingredients and the cooked items. Clear? Now, I am moving on to the next important paragraph. Any doubt up to this, Angel, Vanshika, or it is clear to you? Am I going fast or you all can follow me properly? Is it okay up to this? Any clarification or it is clear? Clear to both of you? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So then let me move on. See, it is written, it has been said that forests precede mankind, deserts follow. The world's ancient patrimony of tropical forest is now eroding, it is deteriorating. The meaning of eroding, it is decreasing, or rather to say in other words, it is deteriorating, and it is deteriorating at the rate of 40 to 50 million acres a year. That is the estimate being done. And the growing use of dung for burning deprives the soil of an important natural fertilizer, because dung is an important natural fertilizer, but it is used for burning purpose. Thus the soil is getting deprived of an important natural fertilizer. And obviously dung, cow dung or dung, is an important fertilizer. The World Bank estimates that the fivefold increase in the rate of forest planting is needed to cope with the expected fuel wood demand in the year 2000. There will be a fuel wood demand. That is the reason World Bank estimated that a fivefold increase, if there is made a fivefold increase in the rate of forest planting, then obviously it will help us to cope with the rapid demand of fuel wood, and that will happen by the year 2000. Okay, that is the reason I told you, though it was written way back in 1994 by Nani Palkhiwala in the Indian Express, but it is very much ecologically and environmentally, it is very much relevant even now also. Okay, so the World Bank had estimated that there should be afforestation, there should be a forest planting. Now forest planting should be a fivefold increase in the rate of forest planting. It is needed, it is required. Why it is required? To cope means to adjust. Okay, that is the meaning of the term cope with the expected fuel wood demand that will be by the year 2000. Something that is very important for us to know. Now, I am moving on to the second last paragraph in page number 45. See, it is written James Speth. Now, who was he actually? He is the president of the World Resources Institute, said the other day, and what he told, and here I quote, we were saying that we are losing the forest. Actually, forest means forest area, okay, forest land we can say, at an acre a second, but the actual calculation is that according to Mr. James Speth, that we are losing it at an acre and a half a second. Okay, we are losing it at an acre and a half a second. Not only an acre a second, but an acre and a half to a second. That is the actual calculation that was being told by the president of the World Resources Institute by the name of James Speth. Remember, previously we had a conception that per second we are losing a small acre of forest land, an acre, rather to say an acre of forest land. But James Speth, he being the president of the World Resources Institute, he clarified that it is not the forest land, not an acre of forest land a second or per second, an acre and a half of forest land per second. Okay, he clarified it. Okay, now I am moving on to the final portion in page number 45, and that is related with article 48A. Now what exactly is being told in article 48A? Now see, article 48A definitely of the Indian Constitution. Now in that article it was been written that the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment and to safeguard the forest and wildlife of the country. So what is written in article 48A of the Constitution? It has been stated that the state shall protect the environment. Not only that, the natural species, the wild animals, the wildlife, the forest resources, all these things are to be safeguarded also. But it is written in the Constitution, but sadly it never gets implemented. But what causes endless anguish is the fact that laws are never respected nor enforced in India. It is written in article 48A that wildlife and the environment consisted of the forest and other living species within the forest, living within the forest, they should be safeguarded. Okay, and environment has to be protected and preserved. But it is written in the name of the, it is written in the Constitution only, but it is never enforced. Okay, it is never enforced, nor it is implemented at all. Okay, at all, not it is implemented. It is written there, it is written in the name of the law only. Just like the author has highlighted that casteism, bonded labor, untouchability, these things are to be abolished, been mentioned in our Indian Constitution. But sadly, even after so many years of our independence and so many years after the operation of our Indian Constitution, okay, these things are still going on shamelessly. That is what the author has written here. See, for instance, the Constitution says that casteism, untouchability and bonded labor shall be abolished, but see, they flourish shamelessly even after 44 years of the operation of the Constitution. Now 44 in terms of 1994, now it will be more than that, you can calculate it easily. So what he's trying to say is that, what is his point of view is that even after 44 years of the Constitution, even after so many years of our independence, and now untouchability, casteism, bonded labor, these things are still prevalent. Okay, but in Constitution it has been written that these things should be abolished, but these things are still going on. Okay, that is the sad part. A recent report of our Parliament Estimates Committee has highlighted the near catastrophic depletion. Catastrophic means something on a massive level, on a mass scale. Okay, massive level. That is known as catastrophic. Depletion means destruction, we can say. And of India's forest, decimation also we can say over the last 4 decades. So a lot of forest has been cut down. There is a decimation rate has been alarmingly high. I repeat one more time, the decimation of forest, the rate has been alarmingly high over the last 4 decades in our country. Now according to reliable data in our country, we are losing forest at the rate of 3.7 million acres a year. Now you have to remember this particular statistical information given, but if you Google it, you will find that the figure might change, the statistical assumption of the figure might change, but we will be following with the text only. Whatever it is written in the text, we will be following with this. Of course it was written way back in 1994, so considering that the estimate that was being done, it was done during those days. So 3.7, we have to memorize this. So according to reliable data, our country is losing forest at a rate of 3.7 million acres a year. This type of information you have to memorize. Important for your multiple choice questions, important for your short questions also. See, large areas officially designated as forest land are already virtually treeless. Outside it is written forest reserves, forest land. You are entering, but when you entered, you find that the place is virtually barren. It is treeless. So this is what actually it is happening. The actual loss of forest is estimated to be about 8 times more the rate indicated by government statistics. So government, they had a statistics, but in actuality it is 8 times more in comparison to the statistics given by the government. The government has given an estimate. The government has come up with a statistics. Okay, so but in actuality, the actual decimation of forest is 8 times more in comparison to the statistics given by the government, or in comparison to the statistics indicated by the government. The actual loss of forest is something more. Okay, see here it is written, the actual loss of forest is estimated to be about 8 times the rate indicated by the government statistics. So government has a statistics, but in actuality the loss is 8 times more in comparison to that of the statistics of the Indian government. Okay, so I end my lecture with this. Tomorrow this part will be completed, and I will be dealing with the last 1.5 page related with this chapter. Page number up to page number 45 I did from your NCERT text. So in my next class I will be dealing with from page number 46. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you Vanshika, thank you Angel for attending the class and for a patient hearing. See you all tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.